We are live. Very sorry for being a couple minutes late. I got stuck in some very interesting, very excessive wind. We got a windstorm happening right now here in Windsor. It was some pretty powerful stuff, so it was really interesting to see. Everybody's doing well. Thank you for being here once again. It's great to be back doing these 1 p.m. live streams. I did not live stream on the 11th or the 12th because I was taking part in the Medium virtual pub crawl. You can find all of my written content about Freemasonry, promoting the ways Freemasonry was and is relevant to the communities in which it's located. You can find all of that on medium.com/@Adamson-Cameron. Let me put that in the chat. I love producing all sorts of different content related to Freemasonry, not just here on YouTube, but I love producing it on a variety of different platforms. Also had a great time last night at the Spitfires game. In case anybody's curious. Sadly, they did not win. I did not stay for overtime. They lost 4-3 to the Sioux Greyhounds, but it was still a heck of a game. I posted some pictures from the game on my personal YouTube channel, so maybe check those out as well, or some video of the game. And with that in mind, welcome. Let's chat about Freemasonry. Happy 313 Day. It is March 13th, which means it is 313 Day. 313 being the area code for Detroit, for a lot of Michigan, I think, not just Detroit. Detroit and Freemasonry have an incredible history together. It is truly one of the cities that you could argue is like a Masonic gem. So let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. But Detroit, it's Detroit versus everybody. Detroit hustles harder. Detroit is incredible. In the meantime, I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you all for being here. Please, as always, take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, consider doing a super chat. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. By the way, today is the second Friday the 13th this year, the final one taking place November. So let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who joins. Hello, Shake the Stars from the Sky. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. I hope you're having a great Friday the 13th, a great 313 day as well. Hello, Evelyn. How's it going? Thank you for being here. I hope you both are doing well. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. And it's wonderful to be here, like I said, as somebody who took the last 2 days of streaming off at 1 p.m. to focus on my written content. It's great to be back here once again. Sportsmanship is absolutely the main ingredient. Speaking of sports, Paralympic sled hockey is still going strong. In case you guys are curious about the schedule, let's see. Today at 2:05 p.m. Eastern, Canada takes on China in the sled hockey semifinals, and the United States has defeated Czechia 6-1. Tomorrow, Saturday, March 14th, 7:05 Eastern, it is Slovakia versus Japan, and then Italy versus Germany. Sunday, March 15th, 7:05. It is the bronze medal game. You know, Czechia's in there. And March 15th, Sunday, 11:05 a.m., United States facing to be determined. I may, just for fun, stream during those games. just to try something a little bit different. Hello, Beyond Ether. Thank you for being here. I am not a missionary. First of all, missionary to me implies some type of religious connotation. Freemasonry is not a religion. But I think the purpose of missionaries is to proselytize or to promote the gospel. And I am one who, I'm not one who is necessarily interested in recruiting, um, if that makes sense, right? I'm much more interested in just talking about why I love Freemasonry and leaving it at that. And whether people choose to join or not join is kind of a separate thing to me. Yes, I was still around, Mr. Keeps. I was just focusing on Medium. Like I said, I took part in Medium pub crawl. But why not come back on Friday the 13th? Talk about an ominous time to come back, in fairness. But why not come back on Friday the 13th? Let me see if I can just do this. Tomorrow's Kansas curling team. I'm going to put the sessions on loop at night to get some sleep. You were at part of the Medium pub crawl? Nice. Which sessions did you go to? I spent most of my time, honestly, in the booths. Because I find the benefit of the booths is you can actually talk to people directly. And so I got added to a lot of publications. There we go, post. Yeah, I even said hi to you in one of the booths. Oh, sorry about that. I missed it. I apologize. Did you say hi in over Zoom, or did you write it in the chat? Either way, I'm very sorry about that, Mr. Keeps. I apologize for not responding. I didn't realize it. But I enjoyed the booths very much. In terms of the overall success of the pub crawl, I did increase the number of followers I have to 589 followers on Medium, which would be an increase of 11. I also got an increase of 5 subscribers. I was grateful for that. And I got added to a few more publications as well, which I'm grateful for also. So yeah, obviously, I've said it before, I love producing content on YouTube. However, I also very much enjoy producing content on Medium. I think written content is also an important part of what it means to produce content online for Freemasonry. We got to be everywhere. And to Mr. Keeps, I do apologize. I don't know where you said hi to me, but I'm very sorry that I missed it. Unless, again, it was that you said it in the chat, which I don't always follow things in the chat, so. I like you cut. I mean, there's not really much I could do, Real Ghostface, other than telling her, make sure you contact the authorities, contact the police, and let them know, especially if you're in any immediate danger or in any emergency situations. Call 911. There's really not much else I can do. It seems like she was saying the Masons didn't know, right, that her father was abusive. I guess in that case, what I'd say to her as well is, she needs to make people, you know, make whomever she needs to make aware of the situation so she can be safe. But without knowing where she's from, necessarily, there's not much more I can do. Thank you for the thank you for liking the new haircut. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, every couple of weeks or so, maybe once a month, I get my nice fancy haircut. So I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Thank you all for being here. We're just gonna hang out, wait to see who joins. Did you have, Mr. Keeps, a favorite booth? For me, my favorite booth would have been um, oh my gosh, probably. Honestly, oh, I can't think of the name one. The booth about parenting was a lot of fun. Um, it's just funny because they were, interested in learning more about, as a kid growing up, what it was like to have a dad who was a Freemasonry, what dad was in Freemasonry. So that was kind of a really fun booth to be a part of. Well, I do love Chicago, so welcome Chicago, Zoe. What's a lineup? I don't know what that means. This is good enough. Keep the hair nice and simple, Keep the haircut nice and simple. That's my philosophy. I saw you in the NHUF. I don't know what that is, but okay. We're not getting an ice storm, but we are getting a crazy windstorm. It's nuts to see this windstorm and um, how crazy it is. So, yeah, we have got a good windstorm here. I will say that. By the way, one more time, just a reminder, um, the Paralympic sledge hockey tournament is presently taking place for the Paralympics. Today at 2:05 Eastern, we have the semifinals, Canada versus China. March 14th, we have additional finals on Sunday, March 15th. There's a bronze medal game for sled hockey at 7:05 in the morning, I believe Eastern time. Czechia versus to be determined, and 11:05 there is the gold medal game, United States versus to be determined. On the Sunday, March 15th, I may do a live stream covering the gold medal games, just because, I think we should support our Paralympic athletes. I cannot do any jumping jacks for ALS. I have no legs. So jumping jacks, I think, are one of the things that's out of the question. But perhaps what I can do is do push-ups for ALS. No, I don't bet money on the sled hockey games. I should put a Masonic spell on the team I want to win. That's for sure. So ZX, when you say football, you got to remember I am from Canada. So when I hear football, I think of American style football. And my favorite team would be either the Blue Bombers, Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and are being from Winnipeg, or I also equally really like the Alouettes. In the terms of the NFL, I mean, I don't really follow NFL football, but I suppose it'd have to be Chicago Bears just because I love Chicago. Yes, I got a big nose. Freemasons have no spells. That's not what we're all about. I will not put a spell on anybody either way because that would be bad sportsmanship. And Freemasons should have good sportsmen. I did. That was years and years and years ago. You're not incorrect about that. It's crazy to think how long it's been. By the way, Mr. Keeps, if you're still there, what was your favorite booth to take part in the medium pub crawl? Gib, I'm going to treat it as serious, even though I don't think you're being serious. What you should do is apologize to your friend and then talk to your friend and the wife about the appropriate next steps you should take. Um, yes, I got a big nose. I look like a dinosaur. I've grown to accept it. I hope you're doing well. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Thank you for being here. Happy Friday the 13th. Well, you went to some weird booths. I mean, I went to some better booths than you, I think. Part of it, though, is, right, because I'm a writer on Medium, I was able to, like, I talked to them about kind of what I wrote about, what I talked about. So they did ask me a lot of questions. And I was grateful for that, the fact that they asked me so many questions. And again, increased my total subscriber count by um, 11. That I was really grateful for. Increased my follower count to 11, increased my subscriber account by 5. So it was really cool. I was grateful for that. In the chat, obviously. Okay, so yeah, I must have missed you. Very sorry again for not saying hello back. Oh, there was, I mean, trolls are part of it. It's just part of being on stream. Um, well, you should. You should. You saw me on camera, I'm thinking, right? Um, I also enjoyed the AI stuff because I have talked about Freemasonry and AI a fair bit. And so talking to the AI people was really cool, and something I enjoyed quite a bit. Today, by the way, is 313 Day. Detroit hustles harder. Gotta love Detroit. In my opinion, one of the greatest cities in the world. I love visiting it. It's incredible. Um, and so, yeah, that is true. Remember, everyone deployed, especially right now, because obviously with the Middle East kind of up in the air, who knows what's happening. Um, people who are deployed, Canadian soldiers who are deployed in that region may be on extra high alert. Also, unfortunately, according to CNN, um, 6 crew members killed when Air Force refueling plane crashed in Iraq. Um, Nothing but thoughts to them and their families. Also, we say 313 Day. Yesterday, there was a Michigan synagogue attack, I believe, in a 313 area code. I believe in Dearborn. Um, Nothing but kind of thoughts with anybody who was at the school, at the synagogue, who was attacked. To my knowledge, no casualties. I'm grateful for that. But as someone who loves Detroit, loves Dearborn, it's a real shame. Um, I mean, define done, the real ghost face. Hello, Poke. By the way, don't forget, March 28th, 9 to 11, we have our public community services fair. And as you know, I will be bringing your coin because I still owe you that coin. I know I still owe you the coin. Don't worry, I will get it to you very soon. Like I said, on March 28th, unless you want me to mail it to you sooner than that. Um, I mean, I would say I don't think that's fake news. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be reporting on the fatalities of any U.S. servicemen if it wasn't legit. Perfect. Really? I must have missed that one. I should have gone there because I love, obviously, I born and raised in Transcona. Go Transcona. Hello, Spirit of Justice. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Cytotrack. Hope you're doing well also. Thank you for being here. Let's see. I can't find the current cost of oil. I mean, I could look it up through Google. I was saying as of yesterday, it was up 62 cents from February 28th. Technically, all people from Transcona technically are trans. I'm surprised no one has ever made that joke before. But yes, technically, I am a trans Canadian. Well, the prices are going up for a lot of different reasons, but let's hope that they maybe stop going up, I think is what most people would hope for. Because it isn't clocking to you. Well, I mean, I will say this, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a fan of Justin Bieber. I don't think Justin Bieber gets the respect he deserves. He's a pretty good artist. He's a pretty good singer, just for the record. So there you go. Nice, Poke Dreamlab. Those can be worth a ton of money. So good for you. Well, so apparently Transcona could be a no man's land in a scary movie. I mean, I not sure, or in a World War I movie. Nope, not going tomorrow. I sent you a message, Nicholas, but maybe next weekend. No promises, but we'll see. Um, Beginning of February, Manitoba Freemasons laid a cornerstone at a Winnipeg synagogue. Awesome. Hey, I would love to see us lay more cornerstones at more buildings, including more religious buildings, be they synagogues, mosques, churches, temples, heck, monasteries. Okay, then maybe we'll look at doing it next month. Maybe let's aim for April. Again, I don't want to promise anything, but maybe we can aim for April. Um, might be worth looking at. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. If you want to check out our cool handshakes, you got to join. Um, well, I think unfortunately within the entertainment industry, unfortunately, I think it's probably very common for artists to face all sorts of abuse, be they financial, be it other types of abuse. If he was, then hopefully the perpetrators are brought to justice. But it wouldn't shock me at all to see, again, unfortunately, within the entertainment industry, people being abused, um, especially even financially. I think that's probably something that's not talked about enough. But it wouldn't shock me at all to see people being abused financially, taken advantage of, especially if they're younger, because they have so little control over their income. Um, Yes, yes. I remember you sent me something about that. I wanted to visit, but unfortunately, I could not. I was too busy traveling. All right, no, I had Masonic events here, but it would have been really cool to check it out. Would I consider myself to be a nomad? I'd like to be a nomad. It's my favorite thing to do is to travel. I think traveling is pretty awesome. Who needs a home, when the whole world can be your home? So, one yes, a whole bunch of no's for have you visited Detroit, Michigan? We'll have to change that because it is absolutely incredible city. What is a nomad? Being nomadic, it means you don't have a home. You just travel from place to place. Jack Reacher from the Lee Child books. Jack Reacher from this guy, Jack Reacher. He's a nomad. Seems like a pretty fun way to live to me. A hobo, yeah. A hobo is another way to put it. Absolutely. I don't know. as someone who considers himself a traveler and who loves to do it, I can see the value of travel without question, including nomadic travel, if you will. We're just going to hang out, wait to see who joins. What I'm going to talk about after the first 60 minutes is a little bit of Michigan Freemasonry, specifically the Detroit Masonic Temple. Again, today is 313 Day, March 13th, which means we're going to celebrate Detroit. It's Detroit versus everybody. Detroit is an incredible, incredible city, an incredible place to visit. And it is home to the largest Masonic temple in the world, the Detroit Masonic Temple. So, no. I mean, first of all, you don't want to think about Freemasonry in terms of high level. That's kind of a silly way to think about it. But second, no. Freemasonry is not Jewish. It's not assigned or aligned with any particular religious entity or religious group. It is all sorts of different Masons of different beliefs. Honestly, I'm watching Friday the 13th right now. I've got it on in the background. But it might be kind of fun to do something like that tonight. But I did want to focus again on doing another Masonic stream just because I didn't do them on the 11th and the 12th, at least during the day. I focused instead on this channel on Medium and Medium content. We don't want to take over the world. Hello, pumpkin spice. I love pumpkin spice. You're making me miss fall. Freemasons do not want to take over the world. We have no interest in doing so. And even if we did, Freemasonry isn't a single organization, so there would be no single group to take over the world. Okay, well, you can believe me or disbelieve me, BC, but you're wrong. And it is much obliged, Poke Dreamlab, much obliged. And thank you for the floating heart. Once again, you guys can send along gifts if you so desire. RoboCop and The Crow, absolutely. And very often, movies will take place in Detroit or be filmed in Detroit, but are not actually set in Detroit. Like, if I recall correctly, Detroit was a stand-in in Transformers, if I recall correctly. What are my thoughts on Mormonism? I don't really have any thoughts on Mormonism. I mean, it's not something I know enough about to say. The founder of Mormonism obviously was himself a Freemason, Joseph Smith. To my knowledge, it is a religious belief. I know there are Mormon Freemasons. No, Freemasons do not control every country in the world. No, Freemasonry is not responsible for COVID, which, by the way, was not a scam. It was a pandemic. While Caesar was wrong, Freemasons had no part in 9/11. Freemasons have no part in any of these conspiracy theory baloney, which is what it is. It does rent out the facility for functions. The Detroit Masonic Temple, they started building it in 1921. And it was completed in 1926, if I recall correctly. Detroit and Chicago absolutely have amazing Masonic temples, as does Windsor, by the way, just on a side note. So let's keep that in mind as well. I've been lucky enough to visit it several times with Courtney, and you should. And they do a lot of tours of the Masonic Temple for the public and for Masons. You could even go there and like attend a Masonic meeting there as you're a Mason yourself. I know you're entered apprentice, but that's okay. Just make sure you let them know in advance that you're an entered apprentice. Define globalist, BC. I believe in trade, if that's what you're asking. I think every person should have the right to sell their goods and services anywhere they want around the world and should have access to a customer base. and potential customers anywhere around the world, as well as I think artists should have access to an audience around the world. So I guess if that makes me a globalist, then so be it. Oh, I mean, United States of America absolutely has some incredible and some amazing and some first class artwork. I mean, there's no doubt at all. So first class architecture, excuse me. Zero doubt at all. Hello, Grace. Thank you for being here. Hope you're doing well. And I mean, certainly, if you do make your way to Detroit, then please jump over, stop by, join us here in Windsor. It would be incredible to see you. Um, well, I don't know what the New World Order is. I don't know what the Great Reset agenda is, but that sounds like a lot of baloney to me. I mean, Freemasonry, we're not trying to create a new world order or any type of world order. We are simply community group members, maybe trying to make our communities a better place. Um, and in terms of the Great Reset, I don't know what that is, but I'm not necessarily interested in resetting anything. I'm relatively happy with the way things are now, so let's not go trying to reset things because that could end up making things a lot worse. Everybody wants a revolution until they see the consequences of the revolution, you know? Good. I'm glad you're okay, Grace. Well, I don't know who Klaus Schwab is, but the World Economic Forum. I mean, the World Economic Forum doesn't scare me the way it seems to scare so many other people, but it's not something that I'm overly, you know, it, I have no interest in necessarily. Again, I'm not interested in a great reset. I'm not interested in a new world order. I'm interested in within my area, my community, how I can make the world a better place through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. Okay, well, Spirit, reset your laptop and then come back here once again and join us. I'd love to see you back here um, sooner rather than later. Let me just go like this. It is, Grace. It's unfortunate that those narratives are kind of constant and they're everywhere. It's very hard to push against them sometimes. Yes, great reset of your laptop indeed. But unfortunately, it's also something that you just have to accept. Unfortunately, we as Freemasons don't get to decide what people choose to believe or not believe about us. Rather, it's just something that we have to, I guess, adapt, right? We can complain about it or we can do our best to push against it. And for the time being, I'm choosing to do the latter as much as possible. Barry, no, because my nose is perfect. I mean, here's the thing, right? I said this before. I am so handsome that if my nose was a normal size, I would not leave any women for the rest of you. So, Great Reset is about money system, digital ID, having no property. Well, I mean, I'm not opposed to digital ID. Most ID nowadays, most money nowadays is digital, so it wouldn't shock me to see most ID as digital also. Um, yeah, unfortunately, people very often will create stories to explain what they don't understand. And that is unfortunate, but it is the nature of conspiracy online. User says too creepy. I don't think I'm too creepy, but who knows? Maybe I am. EJ, well, I mean, I'm sure wherever you moved, it was the right place for you to be. Having said that, Detroit is an absolutely beautiful, absolutely incredible place. So, um, hopefully, you got a chance to visit it, even if you didn't go there for school. No, Stabber, that's new. No wonder it's bruised. Well, okay, Barry. I mean, BC, I think you're full of some nonsense. I'm not one who believes in these conspiracy theories. We'll see what happens, I guess, with Iran. I don't think anybody's using Iran for anything other than probably it seems like a pretty not good outcome at the moment, but we shall see. All I'm thinking about is anybody who may be at risk, anybody who may be in danger, and hoping for their safety. Um, No, we don't, but I'm sure that there's a lot of suffering that people are going through at the moment. It's very nerve-wracking, and you just hope for their safety. Uh, Ask BR. He's got or BC 74749. He's got a few of them. Um, he's got a few of them. I'm great, wondrous. I'll take it, and I appreciate it very much. Well, if anybody stole your crypto, I hope that you contact the authorities as soon as you possibly can. Honestly, though, the problem with cryptocurrency is it's so poorly regulated right now, to my knowledge. I'm not sure the best approach to take or who you would actually call. I guess just the police, the fraud department, maybe. Right? That's the danger of newer, whatever it is, newer technological systems. Usually, it takes a while for the regulations to catch up, and in the process of that, very often people get hurt as the process as the I'm trying to think of the right term as the regulations actually catch up. I mean, I'm not a big fan of they, BC. I really hate when people use the term they because it's so imprecise. Who is they? Other than Carl Schwab, right? When you start using terms like they want this, they want that, it usually is a sign of a very poorly thought out idea and a very poorly thought out argument. And in some ways, an undeveloped kind of theory of the mind or the mind itself, because they can be anything, right? At a certain point, they just becomes whomever you don't like. No, it's not sore. It's just a scab. Just a scab. I have a bad habit of picking at stuff. So, um, right. When it comes to scabs, I'm the worst at that. And I know any mothers in the stream or doctors are going to say, don't pick at scabs. But what can I say? Right. Once they is anything, that becomes a big problem because then they becomes the Freemasons, they becomes Jewish people, they becomes like whatever they is. And that becomes concerning to say the least. Um, Tanned, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Let's give it a bit of time and let's wait to see who joins. It is, you're right. And othering people, I mean, when you're using the term they, othering people is pretty quick, right? Pretty quickly you start to other people, unfortunately. Um, Bill Gates, Rothschilds, Bilderberg. See, again, the fact that you mentioned that the Rothschilds and the Bilderbergs were both Jewish, which I don't know if they are or not, makes me think your they is actually much more expansive than you are first indicating. Um, Barry Brown, I'm not sure what you mean by into Masonic rituals. I've obviously taken part in many Masonic rituals because I'm a Freemason myself and very active Freemason. So obviously, every time you go to a Masonic Lodge meeting and you open and close the lodge, you're taking part in a Masonic ritual. But if you're asking me, like, I don't know what it means to be into them. Honestly, in terms of my view of Freemasonry, the thing I've always found the least interesting in some ways is the ritual. It's not the thing I'm into most when it comes to Freemasonry. I tend to view Freemasonry more as a community group. So for me, community engagement and involvement with the community outside of the lodge, or the ways that the lodge can support the community, that is something that I've always appreciated very much. Um, so I really like Lost. I think Lost is an incredible show. I think it's one of the best. I've seen some episodes of Severance and I really enjoy it. No, Freemasonry is not satanic, and you know that, BC, because you asked me that before. You know the answer I'm going to give you. Um, no, the Masons are not keeping anybody down. Masonry is not about keeping anyone down. Freemasonry is about helping others and helping those around us. We're not trying to keep people down. 26 votes. No is still much higher than yes. No, we're not keeping freedom fighters down either. I mean, I would argue Freemasonry, when you have more Freemasonry within a community, you have more freedom within the community. Because unfortunately, what you are seeing is groups and organizations that are anti-freedom, or at least are trying to suppress individuals, like the Nazis, for example, tend to be also anti-Freemasonry. Sure, the Manitoba Freemasonry Cancer Card Program as well. Masonry is a journey inward, not upward. I would say it's a journey inward and outward, as opposed to upward or downward. Meaning, yes, part of the journey is you learning more about you learning more about yourself, what you're capable of, what you're not capable of. That's absolutely the case. But Freemasonry is also a journey outward in that you take what you've learned and bring it with you to the community, which is one of the greatest aspects of being a Freemason. Yeah, that's true. David Agiel, welcome. Thank you for being here. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having an excellent, excellent day. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Consider doing a gift, consider doing a super chat. It would be much obliged. I've let people into the lodge buildings all the time. I've had tours, I've had open houses. You need to be define most a little bit better there. I mean, um, our meetings themselves, especially if it's a business meeting, are private. Although even then, many Masonic lodges have open installations, right? And an open installation is where you invite family, friends, public to watch an installation. So I guess I would disagree with the premise of your question. There can be, it depends on the lodge and whether they are willing to give you snacks or not, or provide you with snacks. So, I mean, in a meeting itself, there should be snacks after every meeting, or before in some cases. The junior warden is the officer who is responsible for making sure that there are snacks. Or in some cases, a full meal, very often a full meal. I love Detroit too. It is 313 Day, so happy 313 Day to Detroit. One of the most, an absolutely unbelievable city. Does not get near the love I think it deserves. Though it's changing, thankfully. People are starting to respect it more. My t-shirt, I don't know what type. I have no idea. Do I look like the type of person who would know what I'm wearing? Like the type of material my clothing is made from? I have no idea. I don't even know if I have to check this after. Manila. If you think I'm a style icon, boy, you are going to be very disappointed. Um, I am definitely not a style icon. Having said that, I'll take it. No one's ever told me I look like Fred Flintstone. Um, right. I've been told I look ugly many times. Never like Fred Flintstone. So I don't know if you're insulting Fred Flintstone or insulting me at this point. There you go. I mean, look, eventually everybody's going to be wearing just what I'm wearing. Like let's face it, right? Everybody's going to be looking like me. Everybody's going to be wearing what I'm wearing, of course, obviously. I'll take it, Ubi Aviator. Please hit like and subscribe. I'm a huge fan of Jung, and I just read how the inner guard represents the ego and the junior warden is the Jungian self. I mean, David, no, because I don't think I'm conversant enough in Jung to be able to say, like, there's the ego, the superego, and the id. I mean, the inner guard, in some ways, is a guardian. That's the best way to think about it, right? It's a guardian, and so as a consequence of that, it would make sense to the extent that the ego is a guard from the id or from the superego, I suppose that makes sense. The idea of the junior warden as the union self, I don't really know what the union self is to be able to necessarily say. But I mean, the junior warden is the officer in the lodge responsible for the lodge at refreshment primarily. He's also responsible for assisting the senior warden, the worshipful master, in the governing of the lodge. He kind of represents 12 noon meridian time, lunchtime basically, refreshment time from back when Masons were on job sites. I'm not really sure what it means to be a union self. So sorry I couldn't be of more help. Honestly, the senior warden, to use a Star Trek term, I always think of the senior warden as like Commander Riker, the first officer, right? He is one chair, I don't like to use the term below, but nonetheless, one chair below the worshipful master. He, in many ways, is basically in training, learning about how to operate a lodge properly so that he knows he can run a lodge if and when necessary. He also is usually the one responsible for, at least in Ontario, confirming that any visitors are Masons themselves. And in theory, he can actually run a lodge if the worship master is not available, so long as you have somebody who's already been in the chair there to guide him. But think about it like Commander Riker to Captain Picard. Mostly, though, oh my gosh, who is Worf and who is Data? Worf would be the inner guard. Inner guard is not a consistent office. Don't forget, not every lodge has one. In the States, they tend not to. It depends on what jurisdiction you're in. But Worf would be the inner guard. Data would be, I don't know, secretary, treasurer? Just because Data is so smart and knows so much, and the secretary and the treasurer have to be the one who knows all of the rules, all of the laws, all of the bylaws. Well, here I am. So B7, there's not going to be a 1 a.m. stream. I don't do 1 a.m. streams on Fridays. I will be streaming this weekend, though. I was thinking of live streaming during the sled hockey games, just to cheer on Team Canada in the gold medal game. Knock on wood, they get to be the gold medal game. Well, the secretarial work, right? So the secretary, most people will say, is the busiest job in the lodge. It certainly is the most active. The secretary is, amongst other things, he's sending out all of the announcements, summonses, trestle boards. So he's sending out the reminders of the next meeting when it's taking place, as well as information about any events that are taking place. If there is, let's say, some type of emergency, like a lodge meeting is canceled, the secretary is letting the brethren know. He's keeping the minutes. Not only is he taking the minutes during a lodge meeting, but he's making sure that the minutes themselves are properly stored and safely, legibly and safely stored and recorded, as well as he's storing any reports like financial documents. He's completing any paperwork that needs to be done for the Grand Lodge. He is liaising with the Grand Lodge with the district deputy. So he's collecting any dues and giving them to the treasurer. He's reporting on any expenses. So yeah, it's the all of the administrative functions. He's collecting correspondence or sending correspondence. After it gets signed by the worshipful master, he's making sure everything that needs to be signed is signed. So there you go. Thank you, B7. I appreciate that. Trash channel. I mean, I may be a loser, but it's not because I'm a Freemason. It's just because I'm a loser. And thank you, Little Shane. Please don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I would be truly grateful. And I hope everybody watching this is doing well. I have not Freemasonry. I mean, I'm not Christian, so I don't necessarily believe in Satan, but Freemasonry is not satanic. We don't have to meet Satan. Yes, you have to pay your dues. That's a very important thing. Pay your dues. And don't just pay your dues early, or at least pay them on time. Don't make the treasurer or the secretary chase you down. They're busy. They have their own lives outside of being a Freemason. Like, expecting them to chase you down is unkind. We don't have human sacrifices, BC, and you know I'm going to say that, right? I do start to get annoyed when people say the same things repeatedly. Now, you don't have to believe me, which is perfectly fine, but at a certain point, it's clear you're just not listening. Right? And probably because you need you need to believe these nonsense things about Freemasonry, more than likely because you're leading a very not good life, and believing conspiracy nonsense about Freemasonry gives you a sense of purpose. Well, I mean, in that case, I suppose it's a really good thing that you can't get away with it, or you won't get away with it. The postman always rings twice, don't forget that. But maybe work on some empathy there, and try to remember that there are people around you, are people, and in the same way you experience pain and pleasure, they experience pain as well. Um, I don't even know what that means. Freemasons are not behind. I don't even know what that would mean. I mean, some Masons will immigrate, some will not. Some emigrate. I mean, we're not a political entity, so we don't set political policy, and that includes policy as it relates to Freemasonry. Or, sorry, policy as it relates to immigration, excuse me. Well, that is kind of a more Luciferian idea. Agel, David Agi, 81, right? That's obviously a idea within Luciferianism, that that Luciferianism, the idea of Lucifer as the light bringer, that is an Albert Pike idea from Morals and Dogma, which we've talked about before. But that is not necessarily a Masonic idea, because Freemasonry, it's not a religion. So religious figures, I mean, Masons may believe in religious figures of various sorts, but we within Freemasonry are not a religion. No, politicians are not controlled by Freemasons. That's not what Freemasonry is about. It's not about political control of any sort. I don't know. I don't smoke dope of any sort, so I cannot help you with that. Savage. I mean, for some people, that's absolutely the case. For some people, Freemasonry is not much different than our retirement bingo hall. But for others, Freemasonry is very different. It just depends on the Mason, and it depends on his involvement and what he wants to do with Freemasonry, right? Is when they will, or how they will decide. I've always believed Freemasonry can and should be more than simply a time to hang out, but it's up to Masons themselves to decide how they want to approach it and what they want to do. And for some, if what they want to do is get together with their friends and play some bingo and relax, then so be it, right? I do not know what retrocausality is, Creamy, so I cannot help you with that. I think people have souls. Again, now defining soul, everybody will define it differently. I've said it before. To me, the soul is that unquantifiable part of a human that is equal to all other humans and that provides their value separate to any measurable quantities that they may have. So, for example, um, I, you know, I, when it comes to my characteristics, and let's say David's, David Agee's, or BC's, or whatever it is, we're all different. If you measure us, you're all going to get different measurements. We are different heights, we're different weights, we are different ages. Even if we're the same age in years, we'll be born on a different month, a different day, a different minute, a different second. Um, we have different eye color. We're different in a variety of ways that can be measured. However, in terms of our equality towards one another and our usefulness and our value to one another and to anything beyond ourselves, that is something that you cannot measure, right? So the soul is that part of the human that is equal to all other humans that cannot be measured. That's my definition of a soul. Um, Being on the level and acting on the square, both of those are definitely a choice, and they're choices that Freemasons should make. And I would hope that they would make every day if you can. So, no, your city is not controlled by Masons. Freemasons don't control cities, countries, whatever it might be. That's not what Freemasonry is all about. I'm not sure what the getaway process is to which you refer. What's my general thoughts? I don't know enough about the Kabbalah to say. To my understanding, it's um, kind of like, how would I describe it? Jewish mysticism, I think, is how I've heard some people describe it. Right? It's something I would need to learn more about. I mean, I do know, for example, I believe the Kabbalah is where the idea of Tikkun Olam comes from, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is one of my favorite Jewish traditions. The idea that the universe was spread apart into a million different pieces, and we within, you know, the Jewish faith or human race as a whole, not just Jewish individuals, but the entire human race, um, are tasked with putting the world back together, right? It's one of my favorite ideas within, I guess, Jewish tradition. And also, you could argue to Kumalam, there's a Masonic connection there as well. We as Freemasons are builders. We build metaphorically, but stonemasons literally would build things, right? They would build with different stone brought together to form walls, to form cathedrals, to form houses, um, to form Stonehenge, right? Whatever it might be. And so you could argue the process of gathering stones from all around the world and bringing them together into a single structure is a physical representation of the metaphorical idea of Tikkun Olam. And I think Freemasonry, if we consider ourselves to be the stones, coming together from all over the world, of all different religions, of all different faiths, of all different languages, of all different beliefs, and coming together to form this thing called Freemasonry, I think that is a really great metaphorical example of Tikkun Olam. Um, I would also say that um, the Pythagorean 3-4-5 triangle, the right angle triangle, to my understanding, that's important in Kabbalah. That's also very important in Freemasonry. Um, and I also think there's some more Kabbalistic kind of influences in certain Scottish Rite degrees, like the Tree of Life type of thing. Um, What's my thoughts on Yahweh? So I don't believe this is a prison planet. Absolutely not. Again, when it comes to the name by which you describe God, um, whatever it might be, including Yahweh, you absolutely, within Freemasonry, have the right to your beliefs, as you should. Again, I think it's one of the greatest strengths of Freemasonry is the fact that we all have our rights to our different beliefs. It is, but keep in mind, David, even though Freemasonry is spread over the whole of the earth, it is decentralized. There is no single governing there is no single governing partnership. There is no single governing agency for Freemasonry. So you need to keep this in mind. Right? Because sometimes people will hear that and they'll think to themselves, well, it must be the case then that, they'll hear that and they'll think to themselves, well, then it must be the case if Freemasonry is spread over the whole of the earth that there's a single governing body that controls Freemasonry all over the earth. And that's just not the case. Freemasonry is not a single governing body, it's decentralized. Definitely see the Mark Wahlberg. I'll take it, and thank you so much for that. We're just going to hang out, wait a bit longer, see who joins. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Decentralized. Well, that to me is the key on the dance floor. 90% of the 90% of the problems or the conspiracies that surround Freemasonry could absolutely be resolved. Thank you for the shamrock. That's so kind of you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's weekend. It is absolutely the case that we within Freemasonry could 100% deal with a lot of conspiracies if people just understood the fact that Freemasonry is decentralized. There is no single governing body controlling Freemasonry. So when people say, like, could Freemasons take over the world? Like, we couldn't, because we don't have a single governing body to take over the world. Freemasonry in Ontario is separate from Freemasonry in England, France, Texas. Paul the Apostle, I don't know enough about theology to have thoughts on Paul the Apostle, other than there are many Christian Freemasons and they're a wonderful part of the craft. It's not a growth, it's a scab. It'll be gone soon enough. Okay, that's awesome, Spirit. I wish you best of luck in getting merged, your lodge mergings. I'm sure it'll be awesome. Three Masonry like churchman, too much hype, not being rude. I don't know what that means. You mean there's too much hype around Freemasonry? I would say, if anything, there's not enough hyping up of Freemasonry. We need to do a better job and have more hyping of Freemasonry as opposed to less. Wander Kruger, no, Freemasonry does not rule. Well, Freemasonry is not the Illuminati, and the Illuminati do not rule the U.S. The Illuminati doesn't really exist anymore as a meaningful thing. Reptilians. I mean, no, I don't believe in reptilians. I think you're saying reptiles who look like humans, which, no, that does not exist. Very sorry to disappoint. That's not, I'm comfortable saying humans are humans. There's no reptiles who look like humans. But hey, that's just my opinion. What do I know? Maybe I am reptilian. That would make a lot of conspiracy theory people quite happy. How many of the founders of the US were Freemasons, BC? You say that as though you know something. How many actually of the founders were Freemasons? Yeah, but you're still here, click. So there you go. Well, that just shows how little you know. All of them were not Freemasons. The number we don't know for sure, but it's probably 13 of the 39 founders of the signers of the Declaration of Independence were Freemasons. Something like 9 to 11 of the founding fathers were Freemasons. We know George Washington was a Freemason, Paul Revere, John Hancock, um, uh, Ben Franklin. Um, those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Um, when you say all of them were, it shows you don't know what you're talking about. How hard is to be a 33rd degree Freemason? Well, Spider, I mean, it's hard to get up to, well, it's not that hard to be honest. I mean, define hard. I guess it's not that hard, relatively speaking, to be a Freemason, and that includes to be a 33rd Freemason. But it's hard to actually put in the work to be deserving of the title. Very often in Freemasonry, you get the title first, and it's up to you to work to show you've earned that title after the fact. Um, no, the Master Mason does not go into a trance and speak in tongues. I've never seen any Mason speak in tongues. Now, it may be possible that outside of the Masonic Lodge, in a Mason's, you know, religious experiences, he may speak in tongues at church or whatever it might be, but I've never seen any Mason speak in tongues. Certainly not in any Masonic meetings. Is it older than London Lodge? Well, I mean, Freemasonry, speculative Masonry, there are different dates. The first speculative Freemasons were probably 1634 in Scotland. The Grand Lodge in London, I think you're referring to the Grand Lodge of England, the United Grand Lodge. It was formed June 24th, 1717. Um, and it was formed from four already existing Masonic lodges. If I recall correctly, one of them was operative, the other three were speculative. So certainly Freemasonry predates UGLE, but United Grand Lodge was the first Grand Lodge. It was the first attempt to create a unified structure within which all of the Masonic lodges would function and would be chartered. Um, So no, it wouldn't be necessarily okay, but it would depend on the jurisdiction, David. So I can't speak for every jurisdiction on that, but there are, for example, 33rd degree lodges, or sorry, Scottish Rite bodies, which will hold special events for Master Masons or for Masons in general. Well, then don't be a Freemason, BC. No one's telling you you have to be a Freemason, but the fact that you're spending so much time on here talking about it makes me think you want to be one. Um, and you just don't want to admit it. Call Paul Spira. I don't know who Paul Spira is. I will call you crazy if you don't hit that like button and that subscribe button. How's about that? Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I'm I mean, if you got a court case, yeah, visit the Grand Lodge. Why not? It'd be awesome. I would encourage you to do so. It's a beautiful building. I know they have tours. It's a really cool spot. I'm the common people, BC. I mean, well, first, I mean, I will say this is a problem because I don't actually know what you mean by the common people and how you define it. I would think I'm pretty common, and I'm proud to be common, but I guess you may have a different definition of common people than me. But Freemasons are patriots. I've always said I'm a Freemason, but I'm a Canadian first. Still, define working class, right? Is that an income level? Is that just you work for a living? Is that I'm a patriot and I'm a Freemason. I would consider patriotism to be one of the founding ideas of Freemasonry. Check out the Anderson Constitutions of 1723 if you don't believe me. I don't know why your local Masonic Lodge does psychic events every full moon. Which Masonic Lodge is it? I mean, there are some Masonic Lodges that rent their spaces out to different groups. It wouldn't shock me if a Masonic Lodge rented their space out to a psychic fair or psychic groups or something like that. I could absolutely see that taking place. You're controlled like the rest of us schmucks. Only the high level. Well, I wouldn't call myself a schmuck, and I wouldn't call you a schmuck necessarily either, although you're wrong about pretty much everything. You're still here, so I guess there's that. USA hockey is better than Canada hockey. We took the gold. Yeah, but don't forget, you're forgetting about the sled hockey Paralympics, which the gold medal game is on Sunday and which may be US versus Canada. And if it is, we're going to see who's going to win that one. I'm going to bet on or support cheer for Canada. Um, Psalms, let the presumptuous ones be ashamed. We'll see, not a poor person. We'll see. But I would be perhaps a little bit not quite so hubristic. You sound like Icarus flying too close to the sun. Um, so we shall see. But let's not forget about, by the way, and let's give a little bit more respect to our Paralympic athletes, many of whom are out there crushing it right now. So. Under the obelisk for Amun Ra, they moved. So I did not know there was an obelisk in New York. The idea that there were stonemason tools under it, though, does not shock me. I mean, stonemasons would have been the ones to build the obelisk. I don't think they would have removed it from Egypt, but I could be mistaken. Ra, hello? I don't know what that means, but thank you for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. I am keeping well, Minotaur. Hope you're doing well also. Thank you for being here. Please take a moment, if you can, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing and anything you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral. And I think we got Smokey the Clown in the house. Smokey, how's it going? Thank you for being here. It would be much obliged. Hello, Travis the Pirate. How's it going? In New York, 3 obelisks are in a line pointing to the Statue of Liberty. Okay, that's really cool. I did not know about that. But it does not shock me that you would see obelisks in New York. I mean, ancient Egypt was of huge fascination to people in the past 200 years or so. No, we were not behind conflicts in Northern Ireland. Now, that's not to say individual Masons may not have been engaged in troublesome activities and engaged in the conflict on either side. And if so, if they're doing anything illegal, they should be sent to jail. Nice, Minotaur. Good for you. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Hank, welcome. Thank you for being here. Well, thank you, Smokey, and keep up the good work. Everybody check out Smokey the Clown's YouTube channel as well. He's absolutely crushing it. So check out his live streams. He's doing a great job. We're at 28 likes. Thank you so much, everybody, for helping me out. By the way, speaking of cool things I've got, as you know, if you become a Patreon member or YouTube member, you get certain cool things. For Patreon, I do have some bookmarks that I will be sending to people as part of correspondence if they become a Patreon member. That's the newest item we have. Now, if you are a Patreon member at the holiday season, Christmas time, you will get correspondence. Every year I send out special gifts and correspondence for the holiday season. But if you're a new member of the Patreon, you'll get one earlier. Um, so I have seen somebody get blackballed. It's rare, but it does happen. In my opinion, though, if you've reached the point where there needs to be a blackball, you're probably made some mistakes. You should rely on your most importantly, you should rely on your sponsors and your investigation committee to do a good job. If he has sponsors and he has an investigation committee pointing out that he's a good person, then I feel like the lodge should be trustful of that. If they're not, there's a problem somewhere else down the line. Um, do you know the reason why he was? I don't. I mean, it's one of those things where you're not able, I mean, every vote in a lodge is private, right? Like, well, the results are public, but how somebody votes is private, and you're not really expected to ask, and you shouldn't know how somebody voted because you shouldn't be paying attention to the way another person votes. Um, it's done by white and black balls, so it's anonymous ballot. So I don't know why. I mean, my assumption is, the applicant was known to somebody in the lodge, and there was some bad blood there at some point. Hopefully, though, you got to believe that it was done for the right reason. No different than voting in an election, right? You may not get the result you wanted, but you have to allow people to vote as they see fit. I've seen, so I've seen one black ball, like that was a full denial, because there's two or more. I've seen a couple votes where there was a single black ball in, which is not enough usually to count as a denial. But I did see one where there was two, which was a sufficient amount to not accept the applicant. Yes, well, thank you, Smokey, though, for being here. I hope your smoke break went well. Get yourself back to work, but I look forward to seeing you again soon. A lot of political conspiracies come from the Grand Orient. Yes, and P2 was irregular as well. I'm not one of those guys who necessarily is super opposed to the Grand Orient of France. They've got a pretty incredible Masonic history, but they definitely do add a lot of pain in the butt to us in terms of their conspiracies surrounding them or their way they kind of added to it. Um, Mussolini. Mussolini was not a Freemason. I don't think he was. I'd be surprised if he was, right? Because he was aligned with the Nazis, who were not exactly supportive of Freemasonry. That's for sure. How do you even spell Mussolini? There you go. He was a staunch opponent of Freemasonry and officially banned it in Italy. Yeah, which makes sense because, right, he was aligned again with Hitler and aligned with Germany, and obviously, it was made illegal in Germany to be a Freemason. Many Freemasons found themselves in concentration camps. Um, so, yeah, my assumption was it was illegal in Italy under Mussolini. But there's really cool Masonic history in Italy. Garibaldi was a Freemason, and he was kind of the father of a unified Italy. Certainly, Stonemasonry has a fascinating history in Italy, especially in Rome. Um, by the way, today is 313 day. I've pointed out before, right? Normally on Friday 1 p.m. stream, I don't have any specific topics. Rather, it's just a hangout day and we chat about whatever. However, because it's 313 Day, March 13th, 313 Day, I did want to mention the Masonic Temple in Detroit in honor of Detroit area code 313. Detroit's Masonic Temple is the largest building of its kind in the world, the largest Masonic temple. Construction began in 1920, was completed in 1926. By 1908, interest and membership in Masonic fraternities in Detroit has grown to such, or had grown to such an extent that the Masonic Temple Association of Detroit began to consider either enlarging the existing Masonic Temple on Lafayette or building a new, larger facility. Land on Bagg Street, now Temple Avenue, was acquired, and by 1920, the architectural firm George Mason and Company had completed an integrated design of a multifunction complex. Ground was broken on Thanksgiving Day, 1920. The cornerstone was laid September 18, 1922, during a ceremony attended by thousands of Detroiters using the trowel previously used by George Washington during the construction of the U.S. Capitol. Significantly, the opening of the Masonic Temple Theater was celebrated during a concert by the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Osip Gabriel Outwich on February 22, 1926, George Washington's birthday. The formal dedication of the building took place on Thanksgiving Day, 1926. Once again, thousands of Detroiters were present for the ceremony. George Mason's unique design included 3 theaters. One was never completed, but is sometimes used by movie production crews, a shrine building, the chapel, 8 lodge rooms, a 17,500 square foot drill hall, 2 ballrooms, office space, a cafeteria, dining rooms, a barber shop, 16 bowling lanes, 1,037 rooms in total, in addition to a powerhouse that generated all electricity for the complex. Masons also incorporated the artistic conceptions of sculptor Corrado Parducci in the building's magnificent lobby, which was an adaptation of the interior of a castle he visited in Sicily. Parducci also designed light fixtures and chandeliers, decorative arches, medallions, plaster decorations, and a myriad of other artistic details that are unique to the many varied spaces in the building. So there you go. I would suggest, if you guys ever get the chance, follow the Masonic Temple Detroit on Facebook, on Instagram. If you happen to live in or around Detroit, consider renting the space. You go to the masonic.com/rental-info. It's got free Wi-Fi, it's got theaters, it's got ballrooms, it's got incredible spaces for weddings, incredible spaces for celebrations. Believe me, it's something you need to check out. I am at work. This is work. Consider a super chat, just 99 cents. Or hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. All that stuff helps out big time. But happy 313 Day. Like I said before, one of, in my opinion, the greatest cities, by far the greatest cities in the world. It's an absolutely incredible city. Detroit hustles harder. So Nathan, I am not subhuman, nor am trying to think of what the word is, overhuman or pro-human or above humans. I'm neither sub nor above. I am neither sub nor above humans. I am simply a human being, as are all Freemasons. Nathan says no Freemasons. Well, okay. Sabulu asks, how many times do you meet at your lodge? For me, I'm at the lodge probably 4 or 5 times a week. Others are there maybe once a year, if ever. It just depends on your schedule. I would say for me, I'm lucky enough that I can usually be at a Masonic Lodge meeting 4 or 5 nights a week. Because it's not just my lodge I visit, right? It's other lodges within the building. Good afternoon, Brother Michael Moore. I hope that you're doing well. By the way, happy 313 Day. Go Detroit. Detroit hustles harder. I just finished giving some facts about the Detroit Masonic Temple and encouraging people to check it out. Visit it. Largest Masonic building in the world. Oh, yeah, you can say yes to that without question. You are all about Detroit. Oh, it's brutal. I was out this morning and it was absolutely crazy how brutal it was, how much wind there was. All right, John. Normally I love Detroit and won't accept anybody knocking it, but in this case, you know what? I'm going to accept it because that's pretty funny. So, there you go. Congratulations. I will accept your Detroit blows joke because believe me, right now, not just Detroit, but Detroit, Windsor, pretty much all of Southwest Ontario blows at the moment. That's for sure. Yes, I just gave the information from the website. It's not actually, interestingly enough, Brother Michael Moore, it's not the tallest Masonic building in the world. It is the biggest Masonic building in the world. The tallest Masonic building in the world is the George Washington Alexandria Masonic Monument. In a fun side note, but it was really fun sharing that information. Are you watching any scary movies tonight, Brother Michael Moore? I think that's the better question we need to ask. Are you watching any scary movies tonight? And if so, which ones are you watching? Really? Up until I had no idea. Um, Up until the Pentagon was completed in 1943, uh, the Detroit Masonic Temple held the title of the most linear travel space of any building. I had no idea, Brother Michael Moore. That's really cool. It doesn't surprise me at all because it is such a large building and such an incredible building, but I still had no idea. That's really cool. So, Space Lagoon, interestingly enough, right now I actually have on in the background Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, which I love. I love all the Fridays. I would say the best is Part 6, followed by Part 3, followed by Part 8. Jason in Space is up there as well. Um, there's a lot of really great ones. So there's a lot of really great ones. You're not wrong, Brother Michael Moore. The world can be scary enough, especially right now. I know about what happened yesterday in Dearborn. I love Dearborn, Michigan. I love the brethren in Dearborn, Michigan. So my heart goes out to anybody who may have been affected by what happened last night. I understand it was a synagogue slash school. So thankfully, to my knowledge, no one was, everyone's still alive, which I'm grateful for. Um, but yeah, my thoughts are with everybody who was there because it'd be terrifying. So this is my job, stranger. So please hit like, please hit subscribe, and thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing well. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and let me know how you're doing. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, please let me know. And hopefully, some way, Brother Michael Moore, we can rely on Freemasonry to make the world a little bit less scary. At least that's my hope. Yes, Team Tempest, as in Freemasonry. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Oof, I thought it was in Dearborn for some reason. Maybe I read that wrong. Let me see. Unless West Bloomfield and Dearborn, Michigan are very close together. Lincoln Park Mason Lodge. Okay, so maybe that's where I got that from. Lincoln Park Mason Lodge. All right, Noah, welcome from Lincoln Park Masonic Lodge. Please take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing, any thoughts you have on Freemasonry. And Michael, I'm very sorry, 5 miles from your house would be kind of added, would add to the fear of it, I'm sure. John Holmes, I mean, I would say let's try to think a bit more positively here. We don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. So I think the best thing we can do is just wait and see what takes place. And all we can do as Freemasons is hope that everybody is as safe as possible, no one is harmed, including our Masonic brethren. There are Masonic lodges in Jordan, in Israel. There are Masonic lodges on military bases throughout the Middle East. There's even some in Lebanon, so you need to keep those things in mind. Team Tempest, Stock Essex, Worshipful Master, congratulations. I am the Worshipful Master of Border City Lodge number 554 in Windsor, Ontario, and grateful to be a member there as well. So, as well as 5 other Masonic lodges. Attending CCRs, when is that taking place, the installation? I don't think I will be, but I mean, plans can change, so. Well, I mean, I am Scottish, right? But keep in mind, you don't have to be either. You can remain in your craft lodge, unless you're referring to York and Scottish in terms of like emulation ritual or Preston Webb, which sometimes people refer to them that way as well. But I am 18th degree Scottish Rite. It's Lincoln Park's Demo Lay chapter. It'd be great to attend. I don't think I will be, though, at the moment. What are the requirements to be a Mason? You do not have to sacrifice a chicken, nor do you have to sacrifice anything. There's 3 requirements to be a Mason. First, you need to be of the correct age. In Ontario, it's 21. In Michigan, it's 18. Basically, an adult. And usually between 18 to 21 is the age you have to be. You have to believe in a supreme being, but the nature of that supreme being can be pretty general, like liberally defined. It's usually not that specific, right? A lot of people will think it must mean like an Abrahamic Accord type of thing. That's not the case. And you have to take the first step and approach the lodge and express your interest in joining. After that, there's an application process to go through where you learn more about the lodge and the membership, and they learn more about you. Right? And so you have to be approaching them of your own free and accord. You have to be of the correct age. You have to believe in a supreme being. After that, there's an application process which you go through. And that is a time for everybody to learn more about everybody else, for you to learn more about the lodge, for the lodge to learn more about you, and for the lodge to decide if you'd be a good fit for Freemasonry and to vote on your application. I think the difference is the French Foreign Legion, it's more that they will take anybody right away, right? If I recall correctly, you go up, you knock on the door, and if, you can do, I think, the number of chin-ups you need to do, you're in automatically. Whereas within Freemasonry, it's a bit more complicated in that you take the first step and approach them, but then there's an application process. You don't immediately become a Freemason. You, again, get to know the lodge. They get to know you. You go out for dinner, for coffee. You can go to their banquets. And eventually there's a vote on whether your application will be accepted. Well, thank you, Brother Courtney. I appreciate you being here. Well, don't slaughter things. Yes, don't slaughter anything. Now, unless your job is, for example, at a slaughterhouse, in which case I hope you're slaughtering the animals humanely, but that's a little bit different. There is no name of the supreme being. Everybody will have his own view of what the supreme being is. I've said it before, my supreme being wouldn't even have a name. My supreme being is the rational nature of the universe as expressed through geometry and through science. So you can define that as you will, I suppose. As Brother Michael Moore says, depends on what the individual Mason believes. We talked about this yesterday with somebody else. It is a supreme being to me, and it was good enough and sufficient enough for me to become a Freemason. Now, if you don't think it's a supreme being, that's perfectly fine. But my concern is whether it qualifies me to be a Freemason, and clearly it did because I'm a Freemason. So the thing speaks for itself. Isaiah, I do not know what Isaiah 42:8 says, so I cannot help you with that one. Again, I keep meaning to read the Bible again and then read the Quran, but I've just been so busy that I have not had, sadly, the chance to learn. Actually, Brother Michael Moore, I want to talk to you about something while you're here. Do you follow sled hockey at all? Which is the Paralympic version of hockey? Well, I don't really either, but I should be better at it because I'm trying to support our Paralympic Paralympic athletes. On March 15th, they have a gold medal sled hockey game for the Paralympics. We know for sure that Team USA is in the gold medal game. We don't yet know who they're playing. Canada is in the semifinal game today. Actually, they're playing it right now. And if they win, they will be taking on America for the gold medal game on Sunday. I was wondering, do you want to do a thing where we'll make a friendly bet, Canadian to American? If America wins, so if Canada wins, you have to send me something from your lodge, like I don't know what, a coin, a pin, whatever it is. And if America wins, I will send you a collector coin from the Windsor Masonic Temple and a couple items from Square and Compass, and then I'll mention it on my podcast and on my YouTube channel. And maybe take some pictures of it. Could be kind of a fun thing to do. All right, so I'm going to post that at some point. Oh, here it is. Let's see. I'm trying to see if we can get the results. Live Score Center. And you can post something on your socials as well once you figure out what you're going to send, and I'll post something on mine. Oh, so right now it is the semifinals. Ooh, we may not get there. Let's knock on wood. Right now, Canada 2, China 1, and there is a break. Canada is in the lead by 1 goal. Oh, I have so many pins, probably. I'd have to go through them all. We'll find something. And maybe what I'll do is, if you're coming out on the 28th, I'll give you the pin. I'll give you the coin then. That's assuming for the time being that it is Canada versus USA in the finals. If it's not, we'll have to find something else to take a bet on. I'm not hand waving away your post. Click. I'm ignoring them. Jehovah is a main mistranslation. Aramaic and Hebrew don't have J's. China is a country, and China is currently 1 score below Canada in the ice hockey, sled hockey Paralympics. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Fingers crossed right now that Canada pulls it out, and then it'll be Canada versus US in the gold medal game. And we're going to hope that Canada takes it home so that Michael Moore needs to send me something. Um, Jason, how's it going? Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. Well, I mean, I can't win the bet if Canada's not in the gold medal game, if it's America versus China. Although I guess what I could say is if Canada does make it to the gold medal game, I would owe Michael Moore a coin anyways. Um, really? I did not know that English didn't have the J's until the 1700s. That's really cool. Why, do you know how it developed? I don't know much about entomology, or no, it's not the right term. Etymology? The development of language. It's not something I know much about, so that's true. But still, we're going to keep our fingers crossed. We're all going to keep our fingers crossed. I'm sure you find that really fascinating, Brother Michael Moore, in terms of um, like Freemasonry, right? The way that Masonic language has evolved throughout the years is absolutely fascinating as well, right? It's really, really cool. So, until 17th century, try reading a book called The Loom of Language. It illustrates how if you know base words, who wrote that? Who wrote Loom of Language, excuse me. That is really cool, James Dolan. That is really, really awesome. Frederick Bodmer. I will check it out for sure. And James, that would be incredible. I'm sure that's not an easy thing to acquire, an original or reproduction 1611 Bible. So that is very, very cool. How'd you get it? Prosciutto with sweet dry. Oh, you're making me jealous, brother Courtney. That sounds incredible. You always have like the best snacks when you're on here, so it makes me jealous. 30 pounds still. That's not that cheap. 30 pounds is pretty decent. Well, so that's interesting because I know about that through Latin, right? Like Julius Caesar, you pronounce it Julius or Julius, right? You would not pronounce the J. It's only in modern kind of spelling and modern pronunciation that we pronounce the J. But that is really cool. It'd be fascinating to see the history of Masonic language itself and how it's evolved because it's really, really cool to see. Um, and Caesar, even that pronunciation is new, calling it like Caesar, pronouncing the letter C that way, right? like it used to be hard to see. It was almost more like a K, so it was like Julius Kaiser. I am 42 years old. Good for you, brother Courtney. Keep up the good work. Keep on eating more healthy, or healthier, I should say. It's going to pay off dividends, believe me. As someone who's trying to work on his health a little bit, certainly getting better at things like exercise. Diet has always been the area I've struggled with the most. So we all got to do a better job with better diets. That's for sure. At least I do. Let me put it that way. You look like you're about 26 years old. I'll take it. I don't feel 26, that's for sure. So if I look that way, that's what matters. Thank you. You know what helps me look young? When you hit the like button and the subscribe button, and when you are so kind as to um, subscribe. Or when you give a gift like Jason did of a shamrock in honor of very soon St. Patrick's Day. I hope that you guys are going to have a great St. Patrick's Day. Hello from Wyoming once again. Thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear it. We're about just hanging out. In honor of 313 Day, I gave some cool facts about the the Detroit Masonic Temple. If anybody saw that or has any other information to add, please do so. Thank you to Michael Moore for adding some really cool information of which I was unaware, which I'm grateful for that as well. Is Perez Hilton a handsome fellow? No, I believe in a supreme being, but I've given my example of what the supreme being is before on this channel. To be a Freemason, you normally have to believe in some type of supreme being or higher power. You can pick kind of the word for it. And we got Texas here as well, which is awesome. Texas is an awesome place, an awesome state. I was grateful for all the times I've visited it in the past and hope to visit it again. Well, best state, I mean, best food. For me and my humble opinion, I'm going to have to say I think the best state is actually Illinois because it's got Chicago in it. But Texas is pretty incredible. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not going to argue. The best is one of those terms, right? Where different places speak to different people in different ways. So if Texas is the place that speaks to your heart and kind of speaks to you, then more power to you, right? It's no different than, again, with me. Who knows why I love Chicago so much? Who knows why I love Freemasonry so much? Sometimes you just love the things you love, right? Oh, John, you're crazy. Chicago food is great. Now, I will say the best food, in my opinion, is in Texas, but Chicago food is pretty good. You know, pizza's great. I've been told that deep dish pizza is actually not real Chicago pizza. Real Chicago pizza is the thin crust. Tourists eat deep dish. So there you go. Um, Shadow Titan 5 says hello. Hello to you, Shadow Titan 5. I hope you're doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for being here. I'll say it, greatest city in the world. Again, there is no single name for the supreme being. Every Mason will have his own name based on his own understanding. Just call it a higher power if you want. Yes, I got a square head. I'm fine with that. Again, the reason my head is so ugly is because I'm so handsome that if my face was as good looking as the rest of me, I would not leave any women for the rest of you. Which God, though? What is your belief, right? I assume you're Christian. I don't know for sure, but you need to keep in mind Freemasonry does not prioritize or consider, one. It leaves everybody's religious beliefs to themselves. By the way, I do want to say I had a great week this week when it came to Freemasonry. Wednesday, official visit, Rose Lodge was incredible. Tuesday, we had an absolutely awesome visit to Tilbury, Ontario. Tonight, we've got a really great meeting at St. Andrews. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I look forward to it very much. I hope you guys are doing well. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you so much for being here. We're just hanging out, waiting to see who joins. Once again, happy 313 day. If you get the chance, visit the Detroit Masonic Temple. Believe me, you're not going to regret it. It is the largest Masonic temple in the world. It is as beautiful a building as you could ever imagine. Absolutely gorgeous and beyond worth a visit. Going to be pretty busy. It's always busy, but that makes it fun. Even next week, there's some stuff happening. There's the um, um, I can't think of what it is now. There is the uh, district meeting on Monday. So there's a lot of things happening next week as well. There's always something going on. So the toast 9262 says one. One what? And Santa Ana was a Freemason. That is true. Well, sacred texts are all in whatever, like they're different languages, right? Aramaic, Hebrew. None of them were recorded in English initially, to my knowledge. Well, basically, at the Alamo, Davy Crockett as well, on both sides of the Alamo, there were Freemasons, both on the side of Mexico and the side of Texas. Nice, Jason. Get yourself a strike for me. Oh, I suppose that's true. I never thought of that. And I guess if Scientology is a religion, which I understand it is, then I suppose you could argue the Scientology texts were as well. Um, yes, get a picture of the strike. I'd love to see it. And thank you for being here. As always, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having an excellent, excellent time. Thank you for joining. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are at 3,682. We are on our way to 5,000 subs, which I hope to get to before this year is over. So thank you for helping me get there, one subscriber at a time, one like at a time, one super chat at a time. I mean, I eat a lot. The problem is none of it's good. That's the issue. I got to get better at, although I have been eating more healthy lately, certainly getting more fruits and vegetables in. So that's a really good thing. Well, a Mason is not supposed to kill anyone, Thomas. However, in the case of war or battles, then that's just what's going to happen, unfortunately, which is why it's probably best that we try to avoid battles because people die in them, right? But Freemasons should also be loyal to their countries. They should be patriots. And if they're serving in the armed forces, they may find themselves taking up arms against a Mason on the other side. That doesn't mean you don't have brotherly love for them, but that does mean you have to accept the situation as it is. I would never expect a fellow Mason, if we're on opposite sides of a battle, to betray his country for me. I would hope, though, that within the bounds of military service, he would be able to. So, for example, after the battle is over, if he were to discover me, render first aid to me once the battle is done. Um, you know, bring back any belongings I have back to my family. Sit with me as a brother once conflict is ended and we can sit in Masonic Lodge. You know, so there you go. He did. Sam Houston was known as being a very, very important and not important, what's the term? Dedicated Freemason, kind of like George Washington in a sense. He did not let his political um, he did not let his political beliefs or not political beliefs. He did not let his political career interfere with his dedication to Freemasonry. To his credit, um, broccoli and beef is okay. It's usually like good Chinese takeout food. Andy, I mean, the extent to which, like, that's a political question when you ask about the Iran conflict, and it's not one that necessarily I can, every Freemason will have his own views on the Iran conflict at the moment. I can say for myself, I think it's a shame it's happening, and I hope it ends as soon as possible. And I'm thinking about all of my Masonic brethren who may be in harm's way at the moment. Um, and really, that's kind of all you can say about it, right? Um, he was also the first and the third president of the country of Texas. Um, how long was Texas a country for? Like 30 years, right? Before it became American or became part of America. Thoughts on Israel? I'm a proud member of the Lodge of Lodge Holy Land in Israel. I'm grateful to be part of it. Um, I have a lot of concerns with the government of Israel at the moment, but I don't extend that to the people of Israel. And I don't think anybody can. I think we need to be so careful that we don't foolishly conflate the two. The people of a country are not the same as the government of the country. Even if it's a democracy and the people are supportive of the government, we still can't use that as an excuse to negatively judge the people, because there were times when various political factions and leadership have been popular within a country. Um, we still don't target them for derision or hatred. Well, John, I mean, I'll take it. That's something. Hello, Penny and Lunas. Please hit like and subscribe. Michael Moore says, sorry, I'm not sure for what. Oh, governor. 10 years. Okay. So not quite as long as I thought. Jeremy, please hit like and subscribe. I don't think we're looked at as a weak country. You may look at us that way, I suppose, but I think we're actually quite strong. And I'm grateful for how strong Canada has shown itself to be. Atix, my channel is, or my content is about Freemasonry. I don't just produce content on YouTube. I produce content in a variety of different formats and a variety of different platforms. Written content on Medium, content here on YouTube. But yeah, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. I could turn you to a computer by will. Well, Drumple, you do that. I wish you best of luck. Today is 313 day, and as a consequence of that, we are here talking about Michigan Masonries, particularly Detroit Masonic Temple. I gave some facts about it earlier. You seem sleepy. Well, it's hard work being a streamer. What can I say? Tomorrow is Pie Day. What is your favorite pie? That is the question. I did not know we referred to that, but I did hear apparently Canada was the reason we needed Geneva Conventions, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. Everything is a psyop. Well, if you think everything is a psyop, you would strike me as a bit of a bottom feeder as well. So to consider everything a psyop is a concerning statement, I would say. Is cheesecake pie? No. Cheesecake is not a pie. Cheesecake is closer to cake. Although I will say, for the record, I would vote cheesecake as being the second best. It goes pie is the best, then cheesecake, then regular cake. But if it's pie versus cake, it's pie all the way, no question. Um, it is not a cake either. We are too hardcore in war. We are big on brotherly love. I mean, Canada's military history is fascinating. I was part of Operation Legacy for a while through the war amps. If you've never learned about it, Canada's military history is absolutely incredible, and it's something to be really proud of. I mean, we've had our, you know, not there's I remember in the 90s, there was all sorts of examples of Canadian soldiers acting inappropriately, and I'm sure that'll happen again. Unfortunately, because human nature is there's always going to be some in every organization, whether it be the military, police, or anything in between, that act inappropriately. The key thing is when that's discovered, you root them out and you punish them appropriately. Having said all of that, I do think we should be very proud of our military heritage in Canada. I think it very often gets overlooked, whether it be our actions in World War II, liberating Holland on D-Day, through to peacekeeping missions. We're a pretty great country, and that includes we have a pretty great military that has a lot of incredible history to it. Um, I'm giving it some serious Russian gangster vibes. Well, if that's the case, then please hit like and please hit subscribe. Um, Otherwise, the Russian mob will get you. Blueberry pie is incredible. I mean, pie in general is the bomb by far and away. I would say blueberries up near the top. Consider me as your subscriber from now on. There you go. Sure. I mean, look, I believe that every country, at least the people within, are good, right? Now, governments I have issues with. So I have some pretty severe issues with, for example, the government of Russia. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be disrespectful of the people of the country, including the Masons of the country, right? There's a lot of Freemasonry in Russia, and it's incredible. So I'm going to put cheesecake number two. Pie comes first. Pie comes first, without question. I mean, the Navy, Freemasonry has some really cool connections to the Navy in all sorts of different countries, including within the United States. John Paul Jones, the first admiral of the United States Navy, was himself a Freemason. Um, right, so John Paul Jones. In England, several naval officers and naval commanders have themselves been Freemasons, including Queen Elizabeth's husband. I can't think of his name. He was actually part of Naval Lodge. Not lots, but there is Freemasonry in Russia. I mean, Freemasonry was outlawed in Russia from, if I'm getting the dates correct, forgive me if I get this wrong, 1922 and the Bolshevik Revolution through to approximately 1995. Therein, I'm forgetting the precise dates. Um, Freemasonry in a lot of these places, Russia, um, like basically a lot of Soviet countries and former Soviet countries, Freemasonry is fascinating because it was very old and very new, in the sense that it was around in the mid to late 17th century and existed basically until the formation of the USSR. Then it was outlawed for, until the end of the Cold War, to come back in the mid 90s. And what you see by that is it's this really interesting sense of Freemasonry being both incredibly old and incredibly new at the same time. So it's fascinating. When was the Fat Muppet quote again? I don't know, about 2, 3 months ago, maybe 4. I can't remember how long ago it was. I still believe it though, right? Part of me, a big part of me belongs to everybody in this stream, and a big part of everybody in this stream belongs to me, not in a literal sense, but rather in the sense that what you do and how you treat yourself will sooner or later come to affect me, right? If you choose to be very unhealthy, you're going to need medical resources. Every medical resource that's used on you is one less resource that can be used for me or for my friends or my family, and vice versa. Every medical resource that I need to use that is, something that could have been avoided, but I take actions that don't avoid it, that impacts you in a negative way. So we need to be cognizant of the fact that we all belong to each other. It was I belong to the Fat Muppet, right? Um, which I do, um, at least partially. Now, that's not to say that, look, there are things that are outside of our control. Our health is sometimes outside of our control, it's genetics. And it's also one of those things where, and we need to keep in mind and remember that just because, for example, um, that doesn't mean, for example, that people are expected to be perfect. I'm not perfect, obviously. I don't eat as healthy as I should. I don't always take care of myself as I should. However, um, everything's on a balancing act. And I can accept that people aren't going to get it right all the time. We're human. I don't expect perfection, but I do expect people to try to make decisions that ultimately recognize that the things that they do in this life affect the people around them, whether they want to admit it or not. Um, well, free at point of service, Mr. Keeps, right? Free at point of service. I mean, by the way, I'm for universal health care because, in my experience, it's even though it has its own problems, and believe me, it does, it's still obvious to me, at least based on the stories I hear from the States, that our system is better. But that's not to say there aren't problems with our system. And yeah, one of the dangers is when your system is free at the point of service, it can cause an artificial increase in demand. Because if it's free, you're more likely, or if you're not paying for it, you're more likely to try to take advantage of it. Um, no 3993. That's a stupid thing to say. Of course, it's not a requirement to be a Freemason. It's not. It's not even a suggest. It's not. That has nothing to do with being a Freemason. That's nothing to do with Freemasonry. That's a dumb thing to say. Um, which I would suggest you look in the mirror and ask yourself, if you believe something so silly or so foolish, what is it about you that would be so gullible to believe it? Um, Masons built this. Well, this is a wonderful country. I don't know what country it is that you're part of, but America is a wonderful country. Canada is a wonderful country. England is a wonderful country. They are not piece of S countries. Um, well, I mean, you got to use your head a little bit, 3-9. You can hear whatever you want. If we're out there doing that to people, we would be arrested, and we should be arrested. You need to use your brain sometimes. Did you hear how we Pavlov trained? I did not. I don't know what that even means precisely. Um, how we trained. I mean, I do not know what that means. But the Canadian military, I would not mess with it, put it that way. I would not mess with anybody's military. They're all tough guys. They're all tough people. Tough servicemen and tough servicewomen. I don't know what a contingency means precisely in this context. It's not a contingency. It's nothing to do with Freemasonry. Nothing to do with anything. You're just looking up nonsense online and then, for some reason thinking it's possible. And if you think nonsense is possible, I think you need to ask some questions about yourself and why you would think such things. Um, or unless you mean it's a conspiracy. I mean, I suppose that would be a conspiracy theory, sure. Um, there's a lot of conspiracy theories online about Freemasonry. Oh, well, that's an interesting, honestly, I'm surprised other armies didn't think of doing something similar to that. That's actually a pretty clever idea. Now, whether you want to argue the morality of it or not, I suppose, but is that any less moral than just two armies shooting at one another? I do not know what a phrenologist is. Isn't that the thing where like they study the shape of your head and the size of your head? I mean, there might be some Masons who are phrenologists, I suppose, but if I were to if I were to meet a Freemason who is a phrenologist, I would ask a lot of questions to him because it's obvious to me that that's a nonsense science. If it is what I'm thinking of, it's the shape of the head thing. And so, as a consequence of that, I would be very concerned if I ever were to meet a phrenologist Freemason, because I'd be worried about his intelligence. Now, I've never met a phrenologist or heard phrenology discussed within Freemasonry, put it that way. Um, well, I mean, what I would say is I don't know automatically if there was any issues with the ruling or not, but in my opinion, if you have a Freemason judge and he knows that there's a Freemason defendant in his court, he should recuse himself, not because he will do anything wrong, but rather because people may think he's done something wrong. And that's good enough reason to recuse yourself. Sometimes it's about how things appear as much as anything else. Is bomb as good coffee? In which case, I'm glad you're drinking good coffee. I hope you're enjoying it. Please don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're over 3,680 subs, so we're almost there. No FDF, Freemasons are not Satanists, nor are we satanic. Nothing to do with Freemasonry. Very sorry to disappoint. What's it called, John Holmes? What is your coffee called? Let's, by the way, see how Canada's doing. Canada sled. Oh, no, never mind. That was curling. I'm just trying to find the current score. I would not let them measure my head because they might find out that I'm really foolish. Here it is. Let's go live. NBC News. Oh, Canada. China ties Canada at 2 with 1 period left to play. Well, that's not good. I'm going to hit the play button here. I'm going to watch this live on NBC. Oh, this is a live blog. I think they're on break at the moment. Well, I don't know what it means to be a humbug, but yes, Freemasons are not many Freemasons are Christian, many are Muslim, many are Jewish. Freemasonry is not a religion, right? So it's not a religious belief, but there are many Christian Freemasons. And in terms of whatever toots their horn, I mean, that strikes me as a very dismissive way to describe one's beliefs, but sure, if you want to put it that way. I would perhaps speak a bit more reverently about individuals and their beliefs, whatever they may be. I suppose, I mean, my mom was a huge fan of the Toronto Blue Jays. She loved them. So I never really got into baseball. I enjoy watching baseball. live. I don't really like watching it on television very much. But yeah, my mom was a huge Toronto Blue Jays fan, that's for sure. I mean, Starbucks Premium Instant, I'll keep that in mind. I love Starbucks coffee, so yeah, it would make sense that I would. I love coffee of all sorts. My favorite type of coffee, free coffee. Thank you to the casino. I was thinking, by the way, of doing a 24-hour live stream actually at the casino just for fun. I would do it on my personal account, not on this one. But, I've heard of other streamers doing stuff like that before. It could be kind of fun, trying something different. And I know I'd get my free coffee, so. Yeah, I watch AEW. It's incredible. AEW is killing it right now. So, way to go, AEW. It's great to see so much professional wrestling, right? I think that's what absolutely makes it so wonderful. Um, when you have different options, different variety of things, I think that's what makes it really good and really enjoyable. Winnipeg has a great wrestling scene. I mean, Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Don Callis all came from Winnipeg. So we were. I mean, and you talk about something so incredible to see a guy like Kenny Omega, actually, I mean, world champion, one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. I mean, when they talk about the story of professional wrestling, it is going to be Kenny Omega. He is going to be part of that story. And that's pretty incredible to see somebody of that quality and that ability um, to be neighbors with or to have been neighbors with. It's pretty incredible. We're just going to keep hanging out, wait to see who joins. Please, as always, hit that like button and subscribe button. Um, no, but I do watch AEW um, and WWE. I'm always going to argue we just want to support professional wrestling. If you're a fan of professional wrestling, be a fan of professional wrestling, right? Be a fan of all of professional wrestling. Or don't be a fan of what you want to be a fan of, I suppose. But I guess what I'd say is, you don't have to pick one, is kind of the point, right? You don't have to. There's this weird idea, which I don't really understand amongst some fans, where they're like, I like this wrestling, but not that wrestling. Why not just enjoy wrestling? Um, Once again, Canada, China tied 2-1 period left to play in the sled hockey tournament. I mean, I think WWE is doing an incredible job right now. I think the indie scene is also incredible. Again, just enjoy wrestling. And if there's something you prefer, like if you prefer, for example, the indie scene to WWE, then that's awesome. Find the thing you love, right? Find the thing you love. Welcome back, brother Michael Moore. I'm going to be ending this stream shortly. I will be back on this weekend, perhaps, to do some um, maybe live streaming during the gold medal sled hockey game, especially if Canada is in it versus the United States. I am planning a couple of events. I'm thinking of doing a 24-hour stream on March 21st to get back to that finally, because it's been a while since I've done a 24-hour stream. I was also thinking of doing a 24-hour stream at the casino just for fun, just to see how it would go. If they'd even let me keep filming for 24 hours straight, or eventually they might kick me out. But I think it would be really fun to try. I'm watching the results, the live stream. I don't know how to watch the game, but I'll find it. I know that there's a couple live streams that'll be showing it. So, oh, the first morning coffee is incredible. The first morning coffee is absolutely incredible. Um, it's the best. Please, as always, hit that like button and subscribe button if you get the chance. Thank you. We are, and I'm lucky enough to be able to say, we are presently um, over 3,680 subs. So I'm grateful for that. That's how we build this. That's how we turn my passion for Freemasonry into profession. Sub by sub, like by like, view by view. Yes, I think it'd be kind of fun to try. It'd be a different thing, right? It'd be interesting. The biggest thing about Freemasonry, or about YouTube, I should say, though I suppose Freemasonry as well, you have to be willing to try different things. You have to be willing to try new things. Or maybe I would even do it on this channel. Who knows? You could argue it's kind of like you're trying to support here it is. You're trying to support the channel. You're trying to support Freemasonry and our community as a whole. And that includes supporting local businesses. Oops, I need to create an account, I think, to sign in to watch this. Well, thank you, Brother Michael Moore. I'm grateful for that. That's incredibly kind of you. Penny and Luna's Adventures. Maybe I can create an email account right now for CBC. Oops. Oops. Let me try it this way. Excellent live streams. No worries. And Brother Courtney, thank you for being here, and keep up the great work with your keep up the great work with your Masonic journey. I know you're still working hard at it. Don't rush it. Take your time. You're going to have a great time. And that's the most important thing, right? Just enjoy the process. What is the goal of Freemasonry? Mr. Keeps, I do not know what you mean by that. How do you want to play what? What is the goal of Freemasonry? The goal of Freemasonry is up to each individual Mason. I know that how that sounds. Every Mason has to decide what the goal is for himself. Now, a lot would say it's to make good men better. I'm not a huge fan of that, as I think it's too much of a slogan for me. I'm not a big fan of Freemasonry in slogans. Some would say it's brotherhood. I've always said Freemasonry is the belief, or the goal is to try to make the world better through the application of brotherly love, relief, and truth. But I think you could argue that ultimately the goal of Freemasonry is incredibly simple. It's to spend time with one another. What is the goal of going out with your friends on a Friday night? What is the goal of going with your friends on a Saturday morning for breakfast? It's to enjoy one another's company, and it's to enjoy being around one another. So, Brother Michael Moore, improving each other and one another through brotherhood, which is another great one as well. Okay, we are watching the para ice hockey, Canada versus China semifinals. I'm going to put that there because I don't want to to get copyrighted. Canada 2, China 2, 9:33 left in the third. These guys are terrifying. They would destroy me. Others would say using stonemason metaphors and allegory to foster that. Oh, do we got a penalty? I think we got a penalty. I've always wondered why it is that they don't have the referees on sleds as well. Seems to me that if you've got your players on sleds, you could get disabled referees as well. That is true. I do get the engagement, and so it's much appreciated. We're just going to keep hanging out. Please take a moment, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for everybody who supported me on Medium. Don't forget about my written content. Consider liking, consider following me on Medium, as well as on all the different sites where I'm located. Nice, Austin. $100 reffing baseball and football. You're crushing it. Keep up the good work, and that's awesome to see. No, Pete Hegseth is not a Freemason. At least I've never heard any evidence that he is. And he wouldn't do the handshake on TV if he was. That'd be weird. So no, I don't believe Pete Hegseth is a Freemason. Now, again, I could be incorrect, but I don't think so. I've never seen any evidence that he is. He strikes me as the type of person who'd probably be opposed to Freemasonry. One of the conspiracy theory types. Oh, power play. Canada's on a power play. So there you go. So I think that means it's 5-on-4 for Canada. If Canada has a power play, that means they have the advantage. I do believe. I'm a bad Canadian. Oh. Oh, somebody blew a whistle early. All right, we'll try this again. By the way, I'm watching this on gem.cbc.ca, so I could potentially be losing a coin. Tell you what, Michael Moore, if Canada loses this game as well, then I shall send you a coin as well, because you still have bragging rights. So I suppose what I should do is send a coin to China, maybe to Hong Kong Masonic Lodge. So Canada is not a satanic nation. Canada is the greatest nation in the world, partially because we have the greatest neighbors in the world. It's not to say we haven't done some pretty terrible things in our history. Every country has. But you can both accept that our country's done some terrible things and be grateful to be Canadian. It's actually possible to do both, for the record. Get a grip about what, sending the coin. I couldn't send a coin to China. It would be, I don't know who I would send it to. But at the moment, Canada to China to power play with 50 seconds left. I do think we should be supporting our Paralympic athletes more. I'm not sure what the get a grip is referring to. If you're saying, like, there's no question Canada as a country has done some terrible things throughout its history, but I'm also grateful to be Canadian, and I think it's done some wonderful things to Canada at the same time, or wonderful things about Canada at the same time. It's one of those things where it's possible to believe both at once, right? And also to try to be better. Like, part of the reason why I think it's important that we, in any country, recognize our faults and our mistakes historically is because it pushes us and encourages us to do better, to recognize the mistakes that we've made and how we can improve upon them. No different than Freemasonry as well, right? Like, Freemasonry's made plenty of mistakes historically, but that doesn't mean that we Freemasonry is also not a wonderful organization and something I'm grateful to be a part of. And also, I can recognize that we can be better. And every year, I think in many ways, Freemasonry does get better, does recognize its mistakes from the past, and does grow and improve upon them. We created Bob and Doug McKenzie. What more could you want other than that? That's very true. If we created Bob and Doug McKenzie, we also brought you Justin Bieber, Shania Twain, who else? The Tragically Hip, Blue Rodeo. Like, what more could you possibly want? By the way, still 2-2 Canada, China. You wouldn't brag about the Tragically Hip or Blue Rodeo or oh, Canada's got a goal. Here, I'm going to show this to you guys. Maybe they'll do the what's it called? Oh, here it is. There you go. No, phase, we will not find you a girlfriend. You got to deal with that yourself. But I would say if you're looking for a girlfriend, in some ways you're doing things incorrectly, right? Um, your focus should be on doing things that you enjoy, that make you a better person, that help you grow as an individual, that help you grow, and then the girlfriend will come. But focus on yourself first, and no dirty jokes. I meant the girlfriend will come to you or will enter your life. You need to focus on making yourself a better person, as opposed to searching, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I realized Mr. Keeps, when I said that incorrectly, but there you go. I've 25, never been in a relationship. Well, I mean, I had never been in a relationship when I turned 25. So things take time. But if you give yourself time and you focus not on what you don't have, whether it be a relationship or anything else, but just focus on the positives in your life. I know it sounds trite. I know it sounds cliched, but it's true for whatever it's worth. Um, Mr. Keeps now with the jokes. Mr. Keeps now with the jokes. Canada just saved a goal. So there you go. Letter Kenny Shorzy. Yes, he Canada's brought you a lot of things over the years. Um, Keanu Reeves, you know. Nice, Dirty Motor Oil. Welcome. Please hit like. Please hit subscribe. Um, have you ever been to the Detroit Masonic Temple? Never seen any of what? Well, I mean, I am not the person to ask about that dirty motor oil because I'm not particularly religious and I wouldn't call myself Christian by any means. So, in terms of what in the Bible you want to interpret as real versus what in the Bible you interpret as metaphor, or how you make those distinctions, I'm not the person to talk to. You'd want to talk to a priest or whomever is your spiritual leader, or go to a church. Freemasonry is not a religion. We have many brethren of the Christian faith as well as many other faiths. How you interpret, you know, not just the Bible per se, but any volume of the sacred law, it's not really something I could respond to. Um, I would say I think for many people it's a personal journey in terms of how they interpret their religious volumes. Um, I mean, I don't know. I guess you have to talk to a priest about that. I always tend to take things like that much more as a metaphor as opposed to anything else. But because I'm not one who believes in the supernatural. But that's not my again, Freemasonry is not a religion, and when it comes to interpretation of religious texts, that's not what Freemasonry is about. Certainly, that's not what I'm about, and I couldn't respond to that. And no, Freemasonry is not a cult for a variety of reasons, all of which I've discussed on previous channels. Um, they found so where did the ship dock? I'm not sure what a cryptic. Oh, we got an injury. I'm not sure what a cryptic Jews refers to. I mean, Freemasonry was founded in 1717 in the United Grand Lodge of England, or maybe you could say 1634. I'm sure there were Jewish people present at that time in England, but I mean, I don't think they were present at the founding of it. Or do you mean the founding of UGLE? I mean, Freemasonry has welcomed men of all different faiths for years, and something I'm grateful for. But I don't know what that refers to. Um, Google it. Well, why don't you just tell me? I mean, again, Freemasonry is not assigned to or part of any particular faith group or ethnicity or religion or anything else, politics or whatever it might be. It belongs to anyone. Um, so Freemasonry, most likely speculative masonry is what you'd call it, started in oh man, they had to get a stretcher out. This sucks. Started in Scotland in 1634. That's when the first speculative masons joined. The first Grand Lodge was formed in England in 17 June 24th, 1720. Sorry, June 24th, 1717 in London. So yes, that's where it started. Well, people can suggest a lot of things. People suggest I'm ugly, and we all know looking at me that's not true. People can suggest whatever they so choose, but that doesn't mean it's correct. So please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for being here. 3,685 subs. Thank you for everybody who helped me get a few more. Nope, there's this big scab on my nose. I've grown to accept it. It'll go away soon enough. England gave the world too much. England gave the world a lot of things. Some of them were good, some of them maybe not so good, but it still is a wonderful country. And something I'm grateful to be a part of. When I say that, my dad is from England, so. But England is a awesome country. My dad's from England, so. All right, you need to calm down, Click. I'm going to put you in a bit of a timeout for a couple minutes because you need to relax. We're going to end this stream shortly. I figured I might as well stay on until the sled hockey game is finished. Thoughts are with the injured Chinese sled hockey player. It looks like they had to get the stretcher out. So he was moving, thankfully, and we're grateful for that. But still we're all thinking about him. Travis the Pirate. I've been a Mason for just about 20 years, which is crazy to think it's been that long. Almost 20 years. Oh, it looks like they took the sled or the stretcher off the ice. I mean, not really. Define move up quickly, right? I became a worshipful master in 2015. I joined in 2007, so about 8 years. Sure, I have plenty of friends who are not Freemasons. One of the reasons that Freemasonry is not a cult is because Freemasonry does not attempt to isolate you from friends or family. Um, right? A cult will say you can have no friends or contacts. Oh no, look, it's still on. You can have no friends or contact outside of the lodge, um, or outside of the cult. Freemasonry is not about that. Freemasonry welcomes you and encourages you to have a life outside of Freemasonry. I mean, I would say it's probably never too late, but I'm happy with the path I am on. But there are many men who are Freemasons and Christian, many members who are who are Freemasons and Christians, and who would be on the path toward Jesus. Oh, looks like they're giving him a standing ovation, which as they should, or some of them are giving him a standing ovation. Am I a deist? I mean, I think so. I mean, sure it does. I'm here talking about it right now. There are some things which I choose not to talk about because I think doing so would be to impart or to limit the bonds of brotherly love because we create bonds through shared experiences. No, Freemasons, I'm a Canadian first and I'm proud of it. I'm a Freemason second. My bonds are to my country, to my neighbors, and to Freemasonry. It can be all of the above. Um, right? So you need to keep that in mind. I can't really tell. It's too small to see. It looks nice. I mean, it's what I see is a bunch of circles of different colors. Whether I was or not would not make any difference to being a Freemason. China, at least not to me. I'm doing well, Lee. How are you? Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm trying to figure out if we know how seriously injured the Paralympic hockey player is. Looks like there's no results, but thoughts are with him, that's for sure. Oh, Canada 4, China 2, 3 minutes, 37 seconds left to go. Looks like it is going to be Canada versus USA in the sled hockey finals. Um, Maybe I'll do that bet with a few more people. Do you like video games? I do. I enjoy Assassin's Creed Part 3 quite a bit. I also really enjoy um, uh, what's the other one I really enjoy? The Dead Space series. I think those are really fun. I am accident prone too, Lee, so it's not just you. Believe me, it's not just you. 4-2, 2 minutes, 56 to go. Well, I mean, I can't speak for the Canadians because I'm a Canadian. I can tell you what I think of America and the general consensus among the people I know anecdotally. I mean, look, I am grateful to be Canadian. I've said it before. I think Canada is the greatest country on earth, without a doubt. But I will say a big part of being the greatest country on earth is that we have the greatest neighbors on earth. And I truly believe that. So, yeah, I'm grateful to be Canadian and I'm grateful for my neighbors in the States. Um, Canada's not the worst place. Canada's an incredible place. Gotta stop being so negative about our country. Greatest country in the world. And I've said it before, we should be cheerleaders for the country in which we live, and I truly believe that. I'm grateful to be Canadian. I want what's best for it, obviously, and I have my opinions about the best way to get there. But whatever is happening at any given moment, whatever the vicissitudes are, I'm not going to forget about how much I love this country and how wonderful it's been to me and for me. I loved Ottawa. I lived in Ottawa for 2 years straight and then moved back and forth. Ottawa is an incredible city. Very much underappreciated, I think. Still amazing now. Still amazing now. And it's going to be more amazing in about 1 minute and 55 seconds when we get to the, looks like, knock on wood, the gold medal game. If you're from Somalia, then you should call it the best country in the world. I'm a firm believer in patriotism. I think you should always love your country. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot discuss ways to make it better or concerns you have about it. That is absolutely the case. But I would always say if I'm talking to somebody from Somalia and they refuse to say it's the greatest country in the world, that would concern me. They should be grateful for their country and, consider it the best. Um, okay, well, if you were, would it make any difference? You'd still be a good person. I don't know. Where you're from does not impact whether you're good or not good people. Um, Hello, Aaron Williams. Thank you for being here. To everybody who's here, once again, please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Um, Maybe do some super chats, follow me on Medium, etc., etc. We'll be ending this stream shortly. I will be doing some more stuff this weekend, though, so keep watching. I promise you'll see me soon. Um, if you're from Somalia, you should think it's the best country. It'd be your home, right? I'm sure there's a lot of beautiful things about it, and I'm sure that as time goes on, it will get better and go get through its problems, right? You want to be, if nothing else, you want to be hopeful of and for your country in which you live. Um, how many Masons does it take to change a light bulb? Um, the answer is it's a secret. So that's my Masonic joke. 47 seconds left. Canada versus China, sled hockey. Thirty seconds left. Canada versus China. A lot of negativity on this stream. UK is great as well. Home of Freemasonry. All right. I'm guessing they've taken out the goalie. Hong Kong has lodges. Macau has lodges as well. So they both have Masonic lodges. There is Chinese Freemasonry, but in mainland China, there are no official lodges. There are some underground, though. It's interesting. Hong Kong Freemasonry really did start primarily through, there you go, game's over, Canada has won, through trade, which is a really fascinating thing, actually, the way it started, through the East India Trading Company. All right, guys, I need to get ready. I need to go to the lodge, battle through this wind. to go to the lodge. We're going to be back here probably on Sunday for the gold medal game, so you can find me then. All right, guys, talk to you later. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you guys soon. Canada does have a lot of Freemasonry. One of the best things about Canada.